Settle down, settle down. Good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to our visitors.
Good afternoon, visitors.
Ready to see?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so this afternoon, this is the highlight of our ICF class since we will be discussing about the importance of these things. And for this, we're going to have a debate in which the House believes that online and LAN games should be institutionalized. So, with that, I will now give you the chairman of the debate.
It is my greatest honor to be the chairman of this Asian Parliamentary form of debate. My respect to our secondary school principal 1 of Gran Palido National High School, Mr. Melito Directo, sir. As well as our Human Resource Management Officer, designate Mrs. Marilyn R. Del Pilar. Also to our Academic Department Head, Mrs. Maria Pura L. Sayang, ma'am. And of course, to our Internet Computing Fundamentals teacher, Mr. Dwight A. Sarmiento, teacher. And to all debaters, this afternoon at Asian Parliamentary Debate, a pleasant afternoon. Today, 12 students from this Internet Computing Fundamental class will engage into an Asian Parliamentary form of debate. For us to be guided with this debate, here are the rules. Each speaker is given 3 minutes to deliver their speech, and points of information are allowed after the first bell, and points of information will not be allowed after the second bell. First top of the bell is 1 minute, second top of the bell is 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and third top of the bell, the speaking time ends. After all the speakers delivered their speeches, a rebuttal speech will be given from each side for 5 to 7 minutes. Points of information are accepted between 1 to 5 minutes time. To show your support, if you agree the idea being raised, say, "Here, here." And if you disagree, say, "Shame, shame." Now, here are the speakers in each debate team. From the proposition side, first speaker, Mr. Alfred Noynay. Second speaker, Mr. Janriel Ibardo Laza. Third speaker, Miss C.G. Giselle Gabutan. Fourth speaker, Miss Chermay P. Conqueno. Fifth speaker, Miss Merly Quizon. And our sixth speaker, Miss Leslie Marie V. Dihan. And the opposition side, first speaker, Mr. Janriel Hino. Second speaker, Mr. Marvelu Yagon. Third speaker, Miss Irene Amora. Fourth speaker, Miss Gian Baldado. Fifth speaker, Mr. Arnel Chanda. And sixth speaker, Miss Jonaline P. Amero. And our official timekeeper, Miss Jessa Lacar. And to our adjudicators this debate, Mr. Melito Directo, Secondary School Principal. Mrs. Marilyn R. Del Pilar, Head Teacher 3. And Mrs. Maria Pura L. Sayang, Master Teacher 1. The motion that this House believes that online game and LAN game should be institutionalized. I call this House in order. Let us welcome the first speaker from the proposition side, Mr. Alfred Noynay.
members of this House, to my opponent, and to my colleagues. To our adjudicators, a pleasant afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, this House believes that online games and LAN games should be institutionalized in school. First, let me define to you what is online gaming. Online gaming is one of the major trends. In online gaming, one are playing any game, as long as there is an internet connection. Also, online game is a video game that is either partially or primarily played through the internet or any other computer network available. Online gaming is awesome because one has a variety of games to select from. Also, online gaming may be a very enjoyable experience for many, but also have negative repercussions and consequences. Then, let me define what is LAN game. LAN game or LAN party is gathering of people with computers or compatible games consoles between which they establish a local network connection between the devices using a computer or router switch. The size of this network will vary from small spontaneously and take advantage of common household and working equipment. But larger ones, typically, require more planning equipment and preparation. Advantages of online gaming. Online gaming, it is also helped to expand and improve their knowledge of the students who play the online game. Also, it entertains the student to minimize their boredom. Nowadays, online gaming is well known to us. There is a lot of students become popular because of online gaming. Also, online gaming, it can make the player mentally active and shaper too. Another advantages of online gaming, the students become active in school. In addition, it can lessen the absences of the student. Online gaming is advantageous, and it can occupy the mind and avoid people, especially youth, from getting involved in the life-threatening behavior such as drug taking and joining the drugs. That's why I strongly agree to adopt the and I was temporarily rest my case.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let us welcome the first speaker from opposition side, Mr. Jarmil Hino.
To our adjudicators, to my colleagues, to my opponents, good afternoon. This House believes that online games and LAN games should not be institutionalized. First, let me define the word online and LAN games. So online games is a video game that is either partially or primarily played through the internet or any other computer network. While LAN game, or as we call LAN party, is a gathering of people with computers or compatible game consoles. So according to Greenfield and Young in 2009, game addiction is also referred to a video game overuse, pathological or compulsive use of computer games and video games. So ladies and gentlemen, due to game addiction, there is an effect in their personal traits like anxiety, sensation seeking, neuroticism, and aggression, which are the symptoms that the person is under the development of gaming addiction. So we should not promote online games and LAN games in the school, because it will not help the students, especially those students who are really striving their dreams in life. And it will affect their concentration in the class. and they will spend less time in making their homeworks, reading books, and interacting with their family and friends. So according to Brian and Peter 2005, addiction to the games shares some of negative aspects and has been shown to lead to consequences such as failing school, family, even in relationship problems. According to Zoom, even though player may end up playing games for a long time before going to sleep, their brains still running and experiencing phantoms excitement from playing games even when they are asleep. This causes sleep sensitivity and disorders, such as insomnia, which can cause mental anxiety and eventually result in general tiredness. Gaming can also cause separation to our family and friends. We will spend less time in interacting with them and bonding with them. And now I temporarily rest my case.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The speaker spoke for 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Let us welcome the second speaker from the proposition side, Mr. Janriel Bardolanda.
Member of this House, to my opponents, to my colleagues, and to our dear educators, good afternoon. So, the benefits in playing video games. In playing video games, it has a big contribution or a big help for us, specifically here in our brain. And it gives a real workout in our brain every time we play video games. The main benefits of playing video games involve enhancing our mental and neurological skills. So the first is problem solving and logic. So are you familiar with the games Angry Bird and Guro?
Yes!
So when someone plays that game, he or she trains his brain to come up with a creative ways on how to solve puzzles and other problems in easiest way. So it really improves your cognitive function. So the next is hand and eye coordination. In LAN games and online games, there is a lot of categories. And one of the categories of it is a shooting game. So in shooting games, the character may be running and shooting at the same time. So the coordination of the player and the brain interpretation and the reaction of his hand movement and fingertips. So this is the main reason why this is the main reason given by the expert why our today's fighter pilots are more skillful than before, because this generation, the pilots are being weaned to the video games. Weaned means...
So, okay, you mentioned the games Angry Bird and Guro. So, how can you say that these games will help someone to improve his or her accuracy?
Yes. So, in playing that game, the skills required to be involved and abstract to a high-level thinking so that they can may proceed to the next level or to the next chapter of that game. So, I'll continue. So, the third is the quick thinking, making fast analysis and decision. According to the researchers at the University of Rochester, led by Daphne Babalier, a cognitive scientist, games simulating stressful events such as those found in a battle or action games could be a training tool for real-world situations. So the pilot, about the pilot, those are one of examples on it. And Babalier also stated that action game players make more decisions per unit time. If you are a surgeon or you are in the middle of a battlefield, that can make all that difference. So for me, I highly agree that it should be institutionalized or it should be adopted here in our school. Because according to a study that was published in the Frontiers in Human Neuroscience, playing an hour of video games has a positive effect here in our brain. So now I temporarily rest my case.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The speaker's poll is for 2 minutes and 59 seconds.
Let us welcome the second speaker from the opposition side, Mr. Marvelo Yato.
Members of this House, to our dear adjudicators, to my colleagues, and to my opponents, good afternoon. This House believes that online games and LAN games should not be institutionalized in school. Nowadays, we all know that even a 2-year-old kid knows how to use cell phones, computers, and knows how to play video games on it. And especially we, as a student, we know how to play online and LAN games. But in playing these games, it has many disadvantages we could have. Example, violence and addiction. Some experts believe that the effects of video games, violence in kids worsen by the game's interactive natures, and it made games, kids or a student rewarded for being violent. And the act of violence is repeated. The child is in the control of the violence and experience the violence in his own eyes, just like killing. Yes, ma'am?
Did you say a while ago that about violence? So in what way that online games should cause violence?
Yes, ma'am. Online games can cause violence when a player adapts the violence they are experienced in the game, and when they think that violence is right for them. Are you satisfied, ma'am? Yes, I will continue. Call of Duty is an action game, video game, and one of the example of LAN games. Actually, this game could harm the brain. And in this game, a player could experience different kinds of violence. Most of the bad effects of video games are blamed on the violence they contain. Children or a student who play more violence video game are more likely to have increased aggressive thoughts, feelings, and increased social habits. Some video games teach a kid or a student the wrong values, and because of these wrong values, the nature or the attitude of a student are affected. In playing too much game, both online and LAN games make a kid or a student socially isolated. Also, he may spend less time in other activities, such as doing homeworks, reading, sports, and interacting with families and friends, because they are already addicted in playing video games. Video games also have bad effects on some children's health, including obesity, video-induced seizures, and postural, muscular, and skeletal disorders, such as tendinitis, nerve compression, and carpal tunnel syndrome. When playing online, players can pick up bad language and behaviors from other and may make players vulnerable to online danger. As I observed, many game players, just like students, skip their homeworks, skip their meals, and even they will do anything that they can just to escape in the school campus. Many students admitted that their video games habit are often responsible for poor school grades. And now I temporarily rest my feet.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The speaker's poll is for 3 minutes and 3 seconds.
1 point of information is raised. Let us welcome the third speaker from the proposition side, Ms. Seiji Desal Gabutan.
Members of this House, to my opponents, to my colleagues, or educators, a pleasant afternoon. This House believes that online games should be institutionalized in schools. Yes, I agree, because computer games at the school and in students' spare time is actually a good way of supplementing the conventional teaching. Online gamers must agree to an end-user license or an update. Ladies and gentlemen, the voluntary rating system was established by the Entertainment Software Rating Board, or ESRB. A skill can range from E, stand for everyone, and varying games that are suitable for both children and adults, to N, stand for mature, recommending games that are restricted to age above 17. Some explicit online games can be rated AO, stand for adults only, identifying games that have content suitable for only adults over the age of 18. Ladies and gentlemen, then according to new research from RMT University in Melbourne, Australia, the institution found that playing games could help students in sharpening skills learned at school. They have 7 words are accuracy, strategy and anticipation, developing reading math skills, perseverance, pattern recognition, inductive reasoning, and hypothesis testing. Accuracy is action games. According to a study by the University of Rochester, train the player's brain to make pattern decisions without losing accuracy. In today's world, it is important to move quickly without sacrificing accuracy. Next is strategy and anticipation. According to Stephen Johnson, author of Everything Bad is Good for You, how today's popular culture is actually making us smarter, calls this telescope. The government must deal with emergent problems while keeping his long-term goals in his curriculum. Situational awareness. Defense News reported that the Army included video games to train soldiers to improve their situational awareness in combat. Many strategy games also require the player to become mindful of sudden situational change in the game and adapt accordingly. Developing reading and math skills. The younger gamers see the get instructions, follow storylines of games, and get information from the game text. Also, yes, using math skills is important to win in many games that involve quantitative analysis like managing resources. Next is perseverance. In higher levels of a game, the player usually feels the first time around, but he keeps on trying until now I am
Thank you, Ms. Speaker. The speaker spoke for 3 minutes and 4 seconds. No answer. No point of information is raised. Let us welcome the third speaker from the opposition side, Ms. Irene Amora.
Members of this House, to our adjudicators, to my colleagues, and to my opponents, good afternoon. This House believes that online games and LAN games should not be institutionalized. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not agree to institutionalize the online gaming and LAN games in our school. Why? Because this gaming may be one experience that may have more harmful effects than good. Furthermore, it may cause addiction and assignment or other activities may be consumed in online gaming and LAN gaming. The disadvantage of online gaming is that spending most of free time in front of a monitor will help remove teenagers from their friends and society. Gaming addiction is associated with higher rates of anxiety and depression and poorer academic performance. Computer gaming addiction is positively... Yes, ma'am?
So you have tackled about anxiety and depression. So how come that it will cause anxiety?
Okay, ma'am. I will give you a scenario. If ever that student failed or lose that particular online game, he will be sad and he will think that he is a loser. Then it will end up that depression. Talented players are able to leave the emotional effect of the game behind when the game is over. And there are cases of teenagers who commit violent crimes who also spend great amount of the playing video games, such as those involved in the Columbine and Newport cases. Kids spending too much time playing video games may exhibit impulsive behavior and have attention problems. Academic achievements may be negatively related to overall time spent playing video games. A study by Argosy University Minnesota School and professional psychology found that video game addicts argue a lot with their teachers, fight a lot with their friends, and score lower grades than others who play video games less often. Other studies show that many game players routinely skip their homework to play games. According to Catherine Steiner Adair, a Harvard-affiliated psychologist and author of the best-selling book In the Big Disconnect, Protecting Childhood and Family Relationship in the Digital Age. If kids are allowed to play Candy Crush on the way to school, the trip will be quiet. But it's not what kids need. They need time to daydream, deal with anxieties, process their thoughts, and share them with parents who can provide reassurance. And now, I temporarily rest my case.
Thank you, Ms. Speaker. The speaker spoke for repeated. 1 point of information is raised, answered. Let us welcome the fourth speaker from the proposition side, Ms. Shermay B. Conqueno.
Members of this house, to my opponents, to my colleagues, and to our dear adjudicators, a pleasant afternoon. This house believes that online and LAN games should be institutionalized. Online and LAN games should be institutionalized because, first, it helps with review. Online games serves as a tool to help with review in the classroom. Teacher can use this as a reviewer. As we observe, teachers commonly say, "Class, our lesson yesterday was all about blah blah blah. It's all about blah blah blah." But if we adopt these online and LAN games, teachers may find games that is connected to their yesterday's topics and use it as the reviewer. See? Yes, we are playing, but we are learning. Second is they provide entertainment. At the end of the day, the biggest benefit of online game is that they are entertaining. It is capable of yes?
You said earlier that online games and LAN games gives an entertainment. How do you say so?
So, well, ma'am, it can give entertainment because of the colors, the animation, the interactivity of the challenge, and the rewards of winning. Are you satisfied? They provide entertainment. At the end of the day, the biggest benefit of online game is that they are entertaining. It is capable of making difficult subjects such as math more fun. Free math games have the ability to make the process much easier. One way is that students can choose games related to their interests. The best way of learning is when learning while having fun at the same time. That's why video games are natural teachers. Having fun gives the student motivation to keep on practicing, which is the only way to learn skills. According to the study published in the psychological research, playing first-person shooter games such as Call of Duty and Battlefield series enables the players to effectively judge what information should be stored in his working mind and what can be discarded considering the task at hand. So, ladies and gentlemen, many games also offer multiplayer features, allowing students to compete against one another while building relationships and building skills. It's true that not all games we play online are educational, but there are many examples of valuable online games that have been used effectively inside and outside the classroom. Teachers who choose to incorporate online games in the classroom will find that the games are entertaining and help them cater students' individual needs. So for that, I will temporarily rest our case.
Thank you, Ms. Speaker. The speakers spoke for 3 minutes and 5 seconds. 1 point of information is raised, answered. Let us welcome the 4th speaker from the opposition side, Ms. G.N. Baldado.
Members of this House, to our adjudicators, to my colleagues, and to my colleagues, good afternoon. This House believes that online games and LAN games should not be institutionalized in school. Because it has disadvantages towards the learning of learners. First, technology nowadays used to satisfy the needs of human beings, but it was abused and misused. Online games and LAN games were products of mass curiosity that tend to give pleasure in everyday life of people, especially young ones. Using gadgets, learners are able to play games online buying data in which they become addicted. They are digital learners nowadays, learning with the use of technology, in which learners learn by simply browsing and researching online. Though it provides more information and makes learners' lives convenient in terms of studying. Excuse me, ma'am, I'm not yet done. This technology had its disadvantages that affect the life of our learners. We will be able to focus on gadgets without listening to teachers' lecture in which those learners were changing their behavior too. Online games affect the physical skills of the learners in a sense that the learners will not be able to play outside to earn sweat, but staying inside their room to play and develop tardiness instead. It is not good for the learners' health since they can skip meals just to finish the games, and also staying too long with gadgets can damage the eye because of its radiation. It can affect emotionally. In a way,
POI.
Excuse me, sir. I'm not yet done.
I'll wait.
It can affect emotionally in a way that learners had less time to communicate and play with friends, but had more time playing online games alone. Mentally, learners will have fun of fictional characters that they can initiate and familiarize, but didn't focus in their lessons. They might memorize those characters in a game, but in a story during the lecture, not for sure. Spiritually, learners will not have time to go to church, but more time to stay with gadgets. Now I temporarily raise.
Thank you, Ms. Speaker. The speaker spoke for 3 minutes and 3 seconds. 2 points of information are raised and answered. Let us welcome the 5th speaker from the proposition side, Ms. Merlin Quizon. Members of this House, to my colleagues, to my opponents, and to our dear adjudicators, good afternoon. This House believes that online games and LAN games should be institutionalized in school. Ladies and gentlemen, video games or online games can be a good bonding activity because, as what I observed, the millennials, especially we the students, are using now technology such as cell phones, laptops, computers, or any other gadgets in order us to communicate each other and or just having fun on it with friends. I can say that it can be a good bonding activity because when friends are playing together any online games or even LAN games, for example, Dota or Dota 2, we can see how happy they are while playing. We can hear how they shout, they scream, and they laugh. You can say or think that they have no problem. Playing these kinds of games makes their problem forget at least in a moment. From the University of Rochester, people who play action-based video and computer games make decisions 25% faster than others without sacrificing accuracy. So, we can be smarter or quicker learner when we play computer games. And you should recognize that we are now living in a high-tech, sophisticated world. If your child knows more than you, he can teach you how to play, and this allows you to understand your child's skills and talents. Ladies and gentlemen, video games or online games can also increase students' self-confidence and self-esteem. Video games also makes learning fun and makes students more creative. Having fun gives students motivation to keep on practicing, which is the only way to learn skills. Ladies and gentlemen, video games is also capable of making difficult subjects such as math fun. That's why video games are natural teachers. And there's another survey by Juan Gans Coding Center. Teachers report that their students become better collaborators after using digital games in their classroom. And for now, I temporarily rest my case. Thank you, Ms. Speaker. The speaker spoke for 2 minutes and 43 seconds. No point of information is raised. Let us welcome the 5th speaker from the opposition side, Mr. Arnold Janda.
Member of this House, to our dear educators, to my colleagues, and to our opponents, good afternoon. We all know nowadays the video games and
on video games and online games is not new here in our society. Even our younger brother is playing with it because that is because of our technology, ladies and gentlemen. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, online games and LAN games should not be institutionalized in our schools. Why? Excuse me, sir, I'm not yet done. Later, I will answer it. Ladies and gentlemen, why? We all know online games is all about games such as Date Race, Mortal Kombat, and etc. Addiction of online games can affect emotional and also in our health. Without knowing that there is possible to be an addict, or commonly known as addiction. Ladies and gentlemen, overuse of online games is not good in ourselves. Maybe we can spend less of time to do our activities, such as doing homework, reading and sports, and interacting with our family and friends. Addiction or overusing of online games are also can cause separation, ladies and gentlemen. Which is, ladies and gentlemen, that separation is from our loved ones and family and friends. Maybe we forget that we have a responsibility to them. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes we don't know that we can hurt them. It's because we forget to spend time with them for the sake of this game, on online games. Ladies and gentlemen, addiction and overusing of line games can cause also violence. That violence can cause by the game. We don't know it can teach us our own values. Like for example, in playing Dota, you will be experiencing bullying and also screaming. You heard also bad words and so on. On the other hand, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, I will answer it later, okay? On the other hand, ladies and gentlemen, in this kind of online games, it can cause also socially isolated for everyone, especially for those students using this. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe that playing online games is not a solution to overcome our problems. You think if you are going to play online games, your problem will be solved? No. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe it's temporary, but the best things that are... Okay, ma'am, what is your question? Okay, now, I raise temporary my case.
Thank you, Ms. Speaker. Order of the House. Mr. Arnold Janda. Order of the House. Remember, we can only raise our POI after the first bath. The speaker spoke for 3 minutes and 5 seconds. 1 point of information is raised unanswered. Let us welcome the 6th speaker from the proposition side, Ms. Leslie Marie Vidrihan. Members of this House, my colleagues, my opponents, and our dear adjudicators, good afternoon. So this House believes that online games and LAN games should be institutionalized. Many of us have already heard about online and LAN games. Because of technology, we have these games. But when it comes to online games or LAN games such as Dota, Counter-Strike, and so on, our parents think of it as a time waster. And so, they are pulling their children away from computers. But according to a study, the study in Guro University Bochum shows that online gamers have an advantage at learning compared to non-gamers. According to the lead author of that said study, Sabrina Skens, that their study shows that gamers are better in analyzing situations quickly to generate new knowledge and to categorize facts, especially in situations with high uncertainties. Others
also think that online games causes addiction and cause mental health problems. But in contrary to that thought, online games is not associated with an increased risk of mental health problems. Online games seems to be linked to better intellectual functioning and academic achievement. In some cases, especially here in our school, a lot of students like to play online and LAN games. Some of them go home late because they played for hours after school, and maybe some of them skips to school to play. So our side believes that online and LAN games should be institutionalized, because if we are going to institutionalize here in school, then we can lessen the number of absences. Later, I am not yet done. Because we can have grounds here. To cite an example, we can encourage the students not to have an absence in school, because if they are going to have 5 absences in 1 month, then they will not have the opportunity to join the tournament. Another thing is that this will be more effective for students because they will be eager to go to school and study well. Institutionalizing LAN games in school will not affect the students' academic performances negatively, but rather this will help not only the students but also the school to lessen the number of absences. Later, those points that I have been stated are enough reason to institutionalize online and LAN games here in our school. Once again, we on the proposition side highly believes that online and LAN games should be institutionalized. And with that, I temporarily rest my case.
Thank you, Ms. Speaker.
The speaker spoke for 3 minutes and 2 seconds. 2 points of information are raised and answered.
Let us welcome the last speaker from the opposition side, Ms. Jonalyn P. Hamero.
Members of this House, to my opponents, to my colleagues, and to our dear adjudicators, good afternoon. This House believes that online games and LAN games should not be institutionalized. The development of electronic games nowadays is very fast. Not just people can play it alone, but they can also play with other players from different places. That is what people call online games. Of course, we need an internet to play it, but don't you ever think that only rich people can play it. Online gaming is due to today's latest technology. The people can easily to access on this online world because of the modern gadgets that's invented by the new generation. We have now the internet cafe, personal computer, and other gadgets that we can use anytime in our life. We have known that today's problem of the students and parents that we need to solution is the problem in the addiction of the online games. There was a significant positive correlation between students, computer games addiction, and their physical and mental health in dimensions of physical health and sleeplessness. There was a significant negative relationship between addictions to computer games and impaired social functioning. Students' attraction to the computer games caused many mental, physical, and social problems for them. These effects are stimulating anger and violence, obesity, epilepsy due to games, social isolation, and other physical and mental damages. Too much video game playing makes the student socially isolated. Also, he or she may spend less time in other activities such as doing homework, reading, sports, and interacting with their family and friends. But some video games teach students the wrong values. According to a scientific study, Anderson and Bush 2001, yes sir?
So, you said that some video games teach the students wrong values. In what way?
So, sir, it depends on the players if he or she will continue playing if he or she already know that it has a wrong values. So I will proceed to
my... According to scientific study Anderson and Bush 2001, most of the bad effects of video games are blamed on the violence they contain. Children who play more violent video games are more likely to have increased aggressive thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and increased social healthy.
Yes. You have mentioned a while ago that only rich people can afford to play online games. So, what are your bases that you can say that only rich people can play?
Can you repeat your question, ma'am?
So, what is your basis, or what are your bases that you can say that only can rich people afford to play online games?
So, rich people can spend their monies to play in the online games. So now I temporarily rest my case.
So what is your main objectives or main reason why you should not institutionalize the online or LAN games?
Can you repeat the question, sir?
What is your main objectives or main reason why you should not be institutionalize the online or the LAN games? Your main
Later, sir. So now I temporarily rest my case.
Thank you, ma'am. The speaker spoke for 2 minutes and 32 seconds. 3 points of information are raised, 2 answered, and 1 unanswered. Let us now proceed for the rebuttal. You will be given 1 to 3 minutes from the proposition side. Please take the floor.
Okay, so once again, good afternoon, each and everyone. Before we end up our speeches, first, we just want to clarify things, and we just want to take a rebut on what the opposition side has said. I have 6 points here to be clarified. The first one is, you have tackled about game addiction. Well, obviously, we will be addicted to online games if you do not have a limit on playing games, right? It's all about your time management and how you manage yourself not to be addicted. Because I, on myself, personally, I play LAN games and I still manage to do my homework because I know how to limit myself on playing games. So my next point here is, you have tackled about online games. It will not help the students. My God, how come that it is not helpful for the students? Where in fact, many scientists and psychologists find that online games can actually have many advantages. The main one is making kids smart, and it gives high-level speaking skills. So next is, you also have tackled about mental anxiety. You have said that online games causes mental anxiety and it could harm the brain. But a study published in the journal Social Psychiatry and Psychiatry Epidemiology 2016, online games is not associated with increased risk of mental health problems. In fact, it is linked to be better intellectual functioning and academic achievement. Next point is, you also have said about separation and we cannot interact with friends or couldn't communicate well because we are playing online games, etc. Gamers, ladies and gentlemen, gamers actually tend to be more social, more successful, and more educated people rather than those non-gamers. Because if they are going to play, ladies and gentlemen, they are going to play with other people. So if they are going to play with other people, this fosters a friendship. They are building a friendship. And if they're so they are not isolating themselves University of Ontario Institute of Technology concluded that playing online games do not replace offline social lives, but it is expanding it. My next point is about, you have said about if you're going to play online games, the poorer the brain. I just want to clarify that about what Sabrina Skank has said, that gamers are better in identifying and analyzing situations quickly and generate new knowledge and to categorize facts, especially in situations with high uncertainties. So how can you say that if you're playing online games, it will cause poor brains? How can you say that? My next point and clarification, I need to be clarified here, is about, it is related to anxiety, because you always say that online games causes anxiety, always cause depression because someone loses the game. But no, in fact, according to Benry Good, playing games gives your child a feeling of happiness or well-being, which is a human psychological need. So we should not deprive our child to play online games because they need happiness, because it is a human psychological need. Ladies and gentlemen, we should welcome online games and LAN games, not because we are bringing them closer to violence, but rather we are bringing them closer to new kinds of entertainment, and at the same time, online games and LAN games will give them more knowledge. So, ladies and gentlemen, we, on the proposition side, we highly believe that online games and LAN games should be institutionalized.
Thank you, Ms. Speaker. The speaker spoke for 5 minutes and 5 seconds. No points of information is raised. Let us now proceed for the rebuttal from the opposition side. Please take the floor.
Okay, good afternoon once again. I have here 2 points that I want to be clarified. The proposition said a while ago that institutionalizing online and LAN games will not affect the students' academic performance negatively. So, how come that the students will be addicted to the online games and LAN games? So, he or she will be addicted to video games. So, his or her academic performance will be failed if he or she focuses to the online games. Next point is less absences of the students. Are you sure that online and LAN games can less absences of the students?
Yes.
So if can less absences of the students, we don't know that the students will be addicted on that games. So we don't know that he or she will enter the classroom. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that online and LAN games should not be institutionalized in school.
Shame.
Thank you, ma'am. The speaker spoke for 1 minute and 24 seconds. This is the end of our debate. I am Genevieve Sinon, the chairman of this debate. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you and congratulations to the debaters. And I am very much I sense a lot of energy from the Dota boys. They were very happy today. So, debaters, please cross the house. Okay, go back to your seats. Okay, so this time I'd like to hear some insights from you. Insights, it may be 1 to 2 minutes. Anybody? Okay, Rimas.
So ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Again, good morning. So, again, good afternoon, brother. So, before I will proceed, I would like to give thanks for giving me a chance here. So, to our ICF advisor, none other than Mr. Advisor Mento, can we give him a round of applause, please? I'm so thankful that I have given a chance or privilege to be here in front to share to you my thoughts about this debate with a motion that this House believes that online games and LAN games should be institutionalized. So, as what I've observed, the proposition and the opposition side or both House are good in giving and defending their opinion, but I like what the proposition side stated, that it is a big help in our brain and serves as a workout, so it enhances our skills and also playing but learning. But in the other side, I also like the opposition side, who stated that it can cause violence and addiction, spending less time in activities like doing assignment. It can pick up bad words, especially now that I observe, especially in my classmates, that there are a lot of active in online games, to be specific, Dota. So, I hope so that they can manage their time, but all in all, however, I am more convinced by the proposition that we should institutionalize online games and LAN games. Yes, it has a bad effect, but it is how we use it. It was just like the decision is in our hand. So, I will end up in a saying that everything too much is dangerous, just like online games and LAN games. But all in all, I will congratulate you both for giving us a good debate. So congratulations.
Liza Rimas for that insight. Other insight? Okay, Lori, please.
Members of this House, to both sides, pleasant afternoon. Thank you for giving me the chance to share my thoughts about the debate. I agree with what the opposition side said, that online and LAN games should be institutionalized. As Zakia said, online gaming is one of the fastest growing trends in today's generation. Ladies and gentlemen, online gaming makes us sharper and mentally more active. The games generally have various levels or missions to be completed in limited time. This helps us in learning about time management. Yes. Mind and hand coordination. This is one of the main and important disadvantage that we experience while playing online games. We learn to coordinate our mind with the actions of our hands. While executing those actions, we also develop mental strength. Ladies and gentlemen, we also tend to become socially active. Why did I say so? Because as we interact and play with complete strangers online, it helps us in our social life too. Let me end up my speech with a quotation. Video games don't make us violent. Love does. And that would be all. Thank you.
Do we have other insight? I think there are two insights insights which is in favor to proposition science. Wow. What about from the Delta Boys? Do we have Delta Boys there? Okay, Jonas. We have Jonas.
A pleasant morning to each and everyone. A pleasant afternoon to each and everyone, rather. To the both side, a pleasant morning. A pleasant afternoon. It is an honor for me. It is an honor for me to share my thoughts about the debate today. For me, it is good. It is really, really good. It's lesser if we institutionalize the online and or the LAN gaming here at school, we lessen the absences of the students, because I'm also a Dota player, and I believe that if we institutionalize the online and the LAN gaming here in school, we can make a change and we lessen the absences. And they were not able to go to the internet cafe or internet bar just to play. And if it is institutionalized, and the best benefit of playing online games or LAN games, it improves your neurological or mental skills, which is important in every person. And I will not make it so long because I thought that some of the people already say what I'm going to say here right now. So that our temporary business jokes.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think all of us is settled about the issue, which is whether to that the house will be that the house believes that online and that page should be institutionalized. Okay. And with that, I think you have to write down an insights in a one whole sheet of paper. Insights about our debate today. Okay? So you may now go back to your seats. Thank you and